kids that survived the Columbine shooting in 1999 are now adults, and you may remember two teens took the lives of 12 students and one teacher. The survivors say they're never going to forget that horrible day. Joining me now, Samuel Granillo. He was at the school when it happened. Samuel, thanks for joining us, and I'm wondering if you can tell us your thoughts on what you think the survivors at Sandy Hook may be going through at this time.
At this time right now, there's so many stages to how these things happen, and right now it's just sort of, they just finished the waiting game of figuring out who, didn't make it out, and now it's just going to be sort of a blurry mess for the next few weeks as they get into their funerals and sort of supporting each other. I mean, in my experience, the first 2 or 3 weeks after Columbine, it's just one long blurry day, so that's kind of what they're going through right now. It's a little bit after the shock, and now they can start processing things,
Samuel,
but they're not quite there yet.
If you can, take us back to 1999 and what you went through with Columbine. Were you anywhere near the shooters at the time that it happened?
Yeah, I was. I was in the cafeteria at the time. I was 17, junior in high school, and I was eating lunch, studying for a test. I ended up getting trapped in a closet or like an office in the cafeteria kitchen, and yeah, I was pretty close to the shooters. I actually held the door shut as someone was trying to get into our room. There were about 17 people in a small office with us.
Wow.
And Samuel, as I understand it, you lost a friend in the recent Aurora shooting. What can you tell us about being both a survivor and a mourner as well?
It's crazy sort of being kicked so many times in a row. It really doesn't feel very fair. I lost my buddy Alex Teves. I wish I'd known him a lot better than I did, but I was thankful that I was able to be there for so many of my friends that needed help that day. And as a mourner for that sort of put me through a tailspin. To see everyone go through what I went through, just seeing that pain in their eyes was one of the hardest things for me to look at. And this is probably a huge shock to them, going through this so recently after what happened in Aurora. My big event afterwards that threw me through a loop was Virginia Tech, and so that was several years afterwards, and this is only a couple months afterwards, so I can't imagine how they're feeling right now.
So many events to talk about. You talk about Columbine and how you were literally holding a door shut from the shooters. Do you think they'll be able to go back to the school in Connecticut, and did you go back to Columbine to finish your senior year?
I did. I did go back to Columbine to finish out my senior year. We finished our junior year at Chatfield. We were sharing half days with them. But when they welcomed us back to Columbine, they spent all summer rebuilding it. They had a huge line of parents sort of lining up by the entranceway, and it was just like this overwhelming sense of support and love as they helped us back into the school. And we all had each other, and I'm really glad that I had the opportunity to go back. Actually, it made the healing process a lot easier.
Columbine.
Right, and you mentioned the healing process, Samuel. What strikes me in all of this, you're talking about not only adults but 6- and 7-year-old children who are now going to have to move forward. A lot of people talk about closure. I don't like to use that word because there's a healing process that happens, but you have to find a way to move forward. If you could maybe give us one thing that you did to try to move forward from tragedy, maybe that can help others. Can you tell us what that is?
Just not being afraid to talk and getting out there, talking to all your friends as much as you can, friends and family. Just, don't be alone. Don't be afraid to open up what's on your mind. Take it one day at a time. There will never really be closure. I mean, it's over 13 years since my tragedy, and it's still something that I think of every single day. But, it just evolves, and the coping process, it changes. Just hang in there. It will be okay.
All right. Samuel Granillo, we appreciate your time as well as your advice.